5 guys in defense instead of the 4-3-3. A game plan focused on keeping it tight at the back. Guess what? If Ruben Amorim steps up as the top pick for the manager's spot at Anfield, we might be in for some big changes next season. From shaking up the team lineup to possibly welcoming fresh faces to the squad, today we're diving into 5 potential changes Ruben Amorim could bring to the table if he ends up taking the reins at Liverpool. But hey, before you rush to judge us in the comments, remember we're only tossing around ideas based on Ruben Amorim's track record at Sporting. Happy with the club's name, Sporting fans? Also, just a heads up, our 5th point is bound to stir up some debate, so make sure to stick around. Now we go ahead and smash those like and subscribe buttons and let's jump right in. We know many of you might still be feeling down about Xabi Alonso choosing to stay in Germany for another year. He was without a doubt the fan favourite, but what you might not know is just how remarkable Ruben Amorim really is. If you're curious about the Portuguese manager, his strategic approach and how he handles his team, you'll definitely want to check out our in-depth look at Ruben Amorim. It might just make you see beyond Alonso, but for this video, let us focus on his potential changes, shall we? Say goodbye to the 4-3-3. We touched on earlier that we're going to see the end of Klopp and his iconic 4-3-3 setup with this season's close. That's because Amorim has a big thing for the 3-4-3 formation. From his time at Braga to his current run, Amorim's preferred setup has consistently been the 3-4-3. This formation lets his team keep a solid defense while also launching powerful attacks. But the big question is, will he bring this strategy to Anfield? His track record and clear preference for this formation suggests he will. So let's take a sneak peek at what the Reds lineup could look like next season, even before the new faces join over the summer. When the team doesn't have the ball, Amorim often shifts into a 5-2-3 or a 5-4-1 formation, which goes something like this. Now we know what you might be thinking. Liverpool's got an abundance of midfield talent, and moving to such a lineup could mean sacrificing a midfielder to start an additional defender. But here's the kicker. Liverpool's squad is incredibly adaptable. Dominic Szoboszlai is just as comfortable out on the wings as he is in the double pivot, and Curtis Jones is no different. Harvey Elliott has shown his capabilities as a right winger this season, and it looks like playing as Mo Salah's understudy could be in the cards for him under Ruben Amorim. Ryan Gravenberch is poised to serve as a pivot backup, with Stefan Bajcetic potentially taking over Wataru Endo's spot in the starting lineup in the future. As for the wingbacks, Andy Robertson, Connor Bradley and Kostas Tsimikas all have what it takes to excel in that position. But you're probably wondering about Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? Well, you'll have to stay tuned to find out our thoughts on where the Englishman fits into all of this. We get it. Saying goodbye to the 4-3-3 that brought Klopp and his team so much success is a bitter pill to swallow. Yet, if Amorim decides to part ways with the 4-3-3, this is how Liverpool might be shaping up for the upcoming season. So what do you think? Will Amorim bring his favoured formation to Anfield, or will he tweak his tactics to suit the squad he has? Drop your opinions in the comments. This video is sponsored by Copite Clothing. Copite Clothing is a Liverpool clothing site owned by match-going fans. Each design is limited edition and is perfect to wear on a match day, on the terraces at Anfield, down your local, or cozy in the comfort of your own home. As stated, each design is limited edition, and if a product is showing out of stock, they will not be restocking the item, so if you have your eye on something, grab it fast. Lastly, Copite Clothing wants fellow Reds to be 100% satisfied with their orders, so if there is a reason you're not happy, they will refund you with no questions asked. Head over to copiteclothing.com or down into the link in the description to get all of your Liverpool merchandise. Anyway, let's get back into today's video. From our perspective, we're betting on Amorim sticking with his preferred setup, mainly due to his distinctive approach to the game, which is our next big talking point in this video: possession-based football. Did you know Sporting and Liverpool have something in common this season? Yes, they've both been using the 3-2-5 structure during their build-up play, but there's a catch. The pace at which they play couldn't be more different. Liverpool has been known for its direct approach to the game over the years. Even though Klopp has been working on adding a bit more control to their build-up play this season, the Reds still lean heavily on their direct style to put pressure on the opposition. In fact, Liverpool ranks second in the Premier League for the most direct attacks, clocking in at 71, just one behind Manchester United. But when it comes to build-up attacks, they're sitting at 7th of 79. On the flip side, Sporting isn't just leading the Portuguese league in direct attacks with 60, they're also dominating in build-up attacks with a whopping 83. Remember our detailed analysis on Amorim? We highlighted how his teams love to keep the ball moving with short passes, especially utilising that three-man back line, making them second in Portugal for this strategy. Meanwhile, Liverpool ranks 6th in the Premier League for the most completed short passes. But here's something even more interesting that really underscores the difference between the two clubs. Liverpool finds themselves 6th in the league for attempting the most long passes, with a total of 2,108, more than any team in the top half of the table, whereas Sporting sits at the bottom of the chart in Portugal, having attempted only 1,662 long passes. So what does this mean for Liverpool's play style? Are we about to see the end of their direct, high-flying football in favour of just passing the ball around? Well, not exactly. Amorim is known for his adaptability, often leveraging his number 9 as a key player when under pressure from the opponents. However, it's likely we'll see a shift towards a more possession-based game under his guidance, even though the team's resilience on direct football might not completely disappear. Defense first. Now, you're probably wondering why Amorim is such a fan of keeping the ball, right? A big reason is to defend with possession. After all, if the opposition doesn't have the ball, they're not scoring, right? Now let's dive into defense, which is our third highlight. The 3-4-3 setup Amorim favors isn't just about attacking flexibility, it's also about how seamlessly it can shift into a 5-man defense, and this strategy is working wonders for Sporting, boasting the league's third best defensive record with only 26 goals conceded. Doesn't sound too impressive, right? Especially that Liverpool has the second best defense with the same number of goals allowed. So what makes Amorim's defense stand out? Well, let's break it down. Liverpool's expected goals against this season is at 34.5, the highest among the title contenders. Also a recurring issue for the Reds is they often concede the game's first big chance, especially notable in the first 5 minutes. Sporting, meanwhile, has the lowest XGA in their league at 20.3, yet they're conceding more than expected. This could be down to individual errors, goalkeeping mishaps, or just plain bad luck. Conversely, Liverpool is outperforming their XGA, thanks mainly to their stellar performances of Alisson and Kelleher. But relying too heavily on your goalkeepers isn't a long-term strategy. You just can't always give your opponents chances and expect them to miss. This is another tick in the column for why Amorim might lean towards a 3-4-3 at Liverpool. It's not about being defensive-minded, it's about the formation's ability to form a tight defensive block, providing numerical superiority in their own third. And let's not forget defense wins you titles, right? Players in. No question about it, if the Portuguese tactician makes his way to Anfield, he's going to have the full support he needs in the summer transfer window. With his connections to Sporting, there's a good chance he might bring a familiar face along. Most of you are probably dreaming of snagging Victor Gyökeres, the forward with over 50 goal involvements this season. But considering Liverpool splashed out on Darwin Núñez not too long ago, it's unlikely they'll shell out for another high-ticket striker this summer. But here's something you might not have considered. There's a Sporting player who could seamlessly slot into Amorim's envisioned 3-4-3, and he'd also be the perfect fit for Liverpool's current needs. Enter Gonçalo Inácio, the 22-year-old left centre-back. Inácio stands out as one of the Premier League's talent in progressing the ball from the back, whether it's through his impressive range of passing or his ability to carry the ball. He's been instrumental in Sporting's patient build-up play, showing a knack for maintaining possession even under pressure. This season highlighted some of Andy Robertson's challenges in adapting to the left centre-back role during Liverpool's 3-2 build-up phase. Bringing a player like Inácio could not only enhance Liverpool's build-up play going forward, but also facilitate the smooth implementation of Amorim's system. For the midfield, we really don't see a pressing need for new faces anytime soon. Like we mentioned before, Liverpool's midfield is stacked, especially considering Amorim's likely adoption of the 3-4-3 formation. That said, we do think there is room for improvement in the wing-back spots. Sure, we've acknowledged that Robertson, Bradley, and Tsimikas have what it takes to excel there, but that doesn't mean Liverpool shouldn't consider briefing up this area. We've got our eyes on Brighton's Purvis and Stupinon for the left wing-back role, and Fulham's Antonee Robinson to take over on the right. Both are solid defensively and possess the ability to push forward and drive the ball up the field. So what's your take on these suggestions? Do you have other names you'd like to mention? Also, drop a comment if you think there are other areas Liverpool should focus on strengthening this summer. The Trent Alexander-Arnold dilemma. You must be wondering why there's no mention of Trent Alexander-Arnold while we discuss Liverpool's fullback and midfield options, right? Well, hold on to your hats because the fifth and final point might take you by surprise. Let's dive in. Trent is undeniably a generational talent and already cemented his status as a Liverpool legend with Premier League and Champions League titles under his belt. He's without a doubt one of the league's top technical players, boasting a passing range and a vision matched by few. But here's the kicker. Trent might not fit into Amorim's 3-4-3 system. Surprised? Well, let's break it down. To thrive as a wingback in Amorim's setup, a player needs to dominate the wide areas, making constant runs up and down the full pitch. It's a role that calls for a traditional overlapping fullback, not one who cuts into the middle. While this was Trent's role when he first stepped up to the senior team, he's evolved into a more inverted fullback, particularly this season. A telling moment was during the loss to Arsenal 3-1, where his role on the flank left him isolated and Liverpool missed out on his exceptional ball-playing abilities. It's clear that Trent's days of playing the conventional wingback role might be behind him, and there are a couple of reasons for this. Amorim's system requires a narrow pressing structure that forces opponents towards the sidelines. This is where Trent's defensive positioning could potentially be a hiccup. In Amorim's playbook, you need spot-on timing and positioning to effectively cut off those wide areas. Then there's the issue of Trent's injuries, especially this season. After years of playing an intensely physical game along the flanks, it's uncertain whether he can meet the demands of a wingback in Amorim's demanding setup. And about the idea of Trent moving into midfield. Liverpool's centre is already packed, as we said earlier. He's not likely to replace Wataru Endo, and benching McAllister would only complicate things for the potential new manager. Same goes for Curtis Jones and Dominic Szoboszlai in terms of getting game time. So what's next for Trent? Well, with his contract winding down in the summer of 2025 and whispers of Real Madrid interest getting louder, could we witness the 25-year-old making a jaw-dropping exit from Anfield? Or will Amorim refuse to let go of such a unique player, tweaking his own system to fit him in? We know this might stir up a bit of controversy, but remember, we're just piecing together possibilities based on Amorim's past strategies, so do take it easy on us. And just as a disclaimer, Trent Alexander-Arnold is actually one of my favourite Liverpool players. Alright folks, these are purely our thoughts on what could unfold if Amorim takes the helm, grounded in his history with Sporting. Some ideas might seem far-fetched, while others might resonate with you. Either way, we're eager to hear your views, so do drop them in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more Liverpool deep dives. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.